Okay, let me do a couple of, or a number of examples to show you how the addition and subtraction of variables, or the addition and subtraction of terms work. So let's look at the first example, 7xy minus 3x plus 2y, and we add to that one 5x plus, oops, that x is a bit funny, 5x plus y minus 2xy. And again here, you need to consider that sign in front of the bracket, and we know that if you multiply the sign in to each sign there, a plus doesn't change the signs, so that we actually sit with this expression without the brackets. So you have plus 5x plus y minus 2xy. Sorry, I forgot that plus. That also would have an influence on that plus there, but in effect a plus doesn't have an influence on other signs. It's just when there's a negative there that you must be very careful. But now let's look at adding all these terms. First of all, let's look at the xy term and the xy term there. So now you can see we can only add like terms. That's very important. Only terms where they look exactly the same, and that's when that's specifically where the variables, or the combination of variables, look the same. But obviously, if there was a yx there, this xy here and the yx there is actually the same, because yx is the same as xy. It's just swapped around, because you know there's a multiplication between the two variables, y minus x, that we write as yx. So if you look at y times x, that is the same as x times y. It's the same as 2 times 3 would be the same as 3 times 2. So when you're doing multiplication, then you can swap the two things around, and means exactly the same thing. So let's get back to our sum. 7xy, 7xy we can add to minus 2xy. So what do we have? Well, 7xy minus 2xy is 5xy. Okay, let's look at the other one, the other variable, or the other like terms, and there we have negative 3x plus 5x, and if we add those two together, we have plus 2x minus 3x plus 5x is plus 2x. And let's look at the y's. Plus 2y plus y, that will give you plus 3y. Okay, so now we sit with the final answer, because we can't add these terms because they're not like terms. Their variables are not the same. Let's look at another example, and this time subtraction. So let's look at m squared plus 6mn minus 3n, and from this one we subtract 4mn plus 2m squared minus n. Now, as I mentioned before, here you must be very careful of the sign, because that negative you multiply to that sign in front of the 4, which we know is a plus. If you don't see a sign, the sign is a plus, and that negative is multiplied to that plus there and to that negative there. So what do we have left? Well, we have m squared plus 6mn minus 3n minus 4mn minus 2m squared plus n. Okay, now again we need to add like terms. Like terms means the variables and the exponents must be exactly the same to add them. So there you have m squared, and there you have negative 2m squared. So we can add these together, and again notice that in front of the m squared, in front of a term or in front of a variable, if you don't see a number, the number is 1. So in this case, you say 1 1m squared minus 2m squared, and 1 minus 2 is negative 1m squared. Okay, and then let's look at the other term. We have 6mn plus 6mn, and then you have negative 4mn. So we can add those two together. Plus 6 minus 4 gives you 2mn. And then you have a negative 3n, and you have plus n. Now negative 3n plus n means the same as negative 3n plus 1n, and that is negative 2n. And that's your final answer. You can't add these terms because they're not like terms. Let's look at a couple of couple more examples. Let's move this a bit down. Okay, so let's look at the third example. And here we'll see terms where the variables in the terms are swapped around, and then you will be able to see that you can still add them. You can still add the like terms anyway. And then this is the expression. Remember, this is not an equation. This is an expression, because with an equation you have something like x plus 3 equal to 5 or whatever. That is an equation. It's not. This is not an expression. This is an equation. This is an expression because they just say simplify this, or they don't want you to get an answer for m or an answer for n. So that what you do is you just simplify it. The question will usually read simplify this this expression. Okay, so let's look at this. To add these like terms, we have mn here, okay, and mn there, and we have mn there. Here the order is fine, so it's not too confusing. But now we are going to add three terms. 4mn minus 1mn, again, if you don't see a number, it's 1, plus 7mn, and the final answer will then be 4 minus 1 is 3, plus 7 is 10mn. The thing now with the next step can be a bit confusing. Now look at this. It's plus 3mnp. That's in alphabetical order, m, n, and after that, after n follows p. Usually you would like to write your terms alphabetically. It cancels out any confusement. Okay, so what we have here is then plus 3 plus 5 mpn. Now that one looks a bit strange, but let's just rewrite this. Plus 3mnp, and let's write that that term, its variables, in alphabetical order, and that will be mnp. And again, you can reorder this because it is in effect just a multiplication of variables, m times p times n, and you can swap it around as you would like it. So now you have mnp and mnp, and now we can finalize this sum. So let's do that. That's equal to, we keep the 10mn, and now let's simplify that yellow part. So it's plus 3 plus 5 is 8 mnp, and now we can see you can add those because the terms are like terms, and you added the numbers. But now you can't add these terms, although they share mn. This term here, the 8mnp, has an extra p. You can't therefore add it to the mn term that has only the mn term, or the mn variables. So here, this is your final answer. Then you can't go further than that. Okay, let's do a final one, so that we can just make sure we understand what's going on here. Okay, the fourth example. Let's look at this. It's 2a, and it's plus 2b minus 3a minus 3b plus 8a, and there plus 4b. This would probably not be too difficult for you at this stage, but let's just revise this. This is the last question. Okay, let's add all the like terms. We have a there, and an a there. So you have 2a minus 3a plus 8a. So it's 2 plus minus 3 is minus 1, plus 8 is 7, 7a. And then for the next one, you have all the like terms you can add now further, and that's the b's. So it's 2b plus 2b minus 3b plus 4b, and that is 2 minus 3 is minus 1 plus 4 is minus 1 plus 4 is plus 3b, and that's your final answer. You can't go further because they are not like terms.